Alright, so the first thing I like to do when I set up my cube is to basically clean it out. I don't know how well you can see on the camera here, but there's definitely some factory lube. You can see it's all up in there. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble it even further, take all these pieces, and just wipe it off with the cloth. I'm actually going to cut the video here because this actually takes a little while and it's uncomfortable. So I'm just going to get all this really good with the cloth, all the pieces as best I can, and then I'll come back when I'm done. After I finished completely wiping all the pieces down, before I put it back together, I'm going to lube this core. What I'll be using today is Comet for the core. After that's all taken care of, I'll make sure I'll get the springs and screws. I'm not going to completely unscrew the core. I'm just going to do the best I can. I'll try and get a good angle of it, but I'll do the best I can to basically get between, you know, where you can see the exposed metal there, and then between the washer up here. That's usually what I like to do to get rid of the spring noise. As far as the pieces go and the rest of the puzzle, I'm going to use Speedy on the insides where these torpedoes are. So if you can see here, basically on the inner tracks, I'll be using Speedy and this torpedo. And then for the entire outside of the cube, I'll be using Lunar. So on this, you know, these big old faces here, I'll be using Lunar. And I'll put the cube back together after that, and yeah, I'll try and break it in. If the cube feels like it's a little too slow or I over lubed it, then what I like to do is either use Lubical 1. This is really good at like changing the feel of the cube. Also, I've noticed if I've over lubed the cube, this is really good to help get rid of that over lubricated feeling. It's just a really thin, I don't know, silicone. It's really nice. I like it. I like it mixed with other lubes. I've used it exclusively once and I wasn't a fan. It's just a little too thin. Just like all these water-based lubes, or these two water-based lubes. They're really thin, not my style. Really good, really fast, just not my style. I would include this with the water-based just for how thin it is. But it lasts a little bit longer and I find it good for, you know, if you over lube your cube. Otherwise, if it's not over lubed and it still feels too slow, then I'll probably use either both of these or one or the other, just depending. I'll probably use this one just because it's new and I just got it, and so I'll probably end up using this. And yeah, those are my thoughts on the process, and I'll see you at the next section of this video. Thanks for watching. Now that I've completely wiped off all of the pieces, the first thing I'm going to do is lube the core. Normally, what I would do is I would basically just try and get a little drop in between the screw head and the spring. But since I liked the out-of-the-box tensions on this, and I can see that all of these screw heads are flush, I'm actually going to go ahead and fully disassemble this and lube the points where the spring comes in contact with the plastic underneath. Also try and get a little bit in the little plastic sleeve there. And then once again, like I said earlier, just get a drop between the spring and the screw head. So I'll do an example of one here. And then I'll cut ahead to the next step. Alright, so they did give us a washer with this. So what I'll do is I'll put a drop on that center ring. So that'll give us lubrication between the bottom of the washer and the plastic. And then if it's enough, it should drip over onto this top side of this washer, and that'll lubricate between the washer and this bottom of the spring here. If it's not enough, I'll just drop another drop in. Usually what I'll do is put the drop in the bottom of the plastic first, insert the washer, see how much lube is in there, and then put the spring on, put the screw in, and then do the screw head. So I'll do that now. That's what one drop looks like. You can barely see it here. Okay, I lost focus there, but this is one drop. You can barely see it. I'm just going to continue on, and if this will focus, do the best I can to show the process. And as you can see, there wasn't enough lube with one drop to cover the top side of the washer also. So I'm going to put one more additional drop on this and take it from there. And basically by doing that, any of the excess lube will just drain down, and that'll get the inside portion of this sleeve lubricated also. So it's pretty nice doing this. It gets rid of all the spring noise, and I don't know, helps the cube feel nice overall. And then I try not to worry if it's too much, because like I said, it'll just, this whole screw will end up lubricating itself if you accidentally overlube it. In this case, I kind of did. There's a lot on the head there, but it is a thicker lube, which is nice, so not a big deal. And that's 1 of 6. So I'll do the other 5 sides, screw it back in to where it was flush, because that's how it came out of the box, and I actually liked that tension. So I'll come back when that's all done. Alright, so I've done all 6 sides now. I just repeated the same step that I did on the blue side, where I completely unscrewed the whole centerpiece. Lubricated the base of the plastic here, put the washer on. If there was enough lube to cover the top of the washer also, then I would put the spring on. If there wasn't enough lube, then I'd put an extra drop. The excess basically lubricates the sleeve, so if you overlube it, that's fine. If you're worried about overlubing it, use something a little, I guess, less viscous. But I personally like thick lube on the inside because you really don't feel it much, and it's extremely quiet and slick now. So that's how I like to set it up. Oh, and also forgot the base, the screw head also. So the screw head to spring, spring to washer, washer to plastic, and the sleeve. So I believe that's 4 points. So if you get those 4 points, that's thoroughly lubed core. And the next step from here is to basically reassemble the cube. This is going to take me a while. I'm not the best big cube assembler. So I'll do a little time lapse here, and I'll stop and let you guys know where I like to lube next. Okay, so from this point, the cube is about 50% done. I still have the bottom face to do, and I have to build it up to the top. When I did the 4x4, I actually finished one more section here. But since I'm having such a difficult time with this puzzle, I'm actually just going to lube it right here, and then I can see a lot of the puzzle here, so it's really easy to access any weird spots I need to get to. So what I'll be doing is, I like this lube a lot. This is Lubical Speedy. I'll be using this on the inside. And I guess what I'll do to get... My biggest problem is I always over lube my cubes. It's not such a bad thing because I don't mind breaking my cubes in. And if you over lube it, you can go months without having to lube it again. You know, just as long as you put something less viscous in, you know, as you need to, as it breaks in. What I'll try to do here is do this inner corner and then this inner corner. So the red-white inner corner and the yellow-orange inner center corner. So, like it says on the bottle, 2 to 5 drops. So it is a bigger cube than a 3x3, but at the same time it's a mini cube. So I'll probably put 3 drops on each corner and just smear it around as best as I can there. Alright, so 2 drops actually went a really long ways. So I'm just going to put 2 more on this side. And that should be pretty good for lubricating the inside. So I actually just added a 3rd drop to get the inside scoop here, that rim that kind of comes up. I didn't really get a lot on that wall there, so I'm getting the inside of this wall now. So it will be 3 drops on this corner, 3 drops on this corner, on the inside ring. So just to get the flat surface and then the vertical wall there. And then for the outside ring, it'll just be the same process. This one here is lunar. It says use 6 drops. It's very, very runny. So I'll do the same ratio, 3 on this side, 3 on that side, and I'll do the best to just spread it between this corner and this corner. And I'll actually do the opposite corners here. I did the red and white and the orange and yellow, so what I'll do here is red and yellow, orange and white, just to get a, I don't know, decent distribution. And that's it for lubing. That's pretty much how I lube the cube. I'll put it back together, tension it, and if I like it, it's good to go. 9 times out of 10, I over lube my cubes. This seems good to me. It doesn't seem over lubricated. I think once it works its way around, it'll have a nice layer that should last a long time, especially with how I over lubricated the core. If you look close enough, you can actually see that some of the Comet is dripping out, which is nice because as it'll drip through, you know, the excess lube as it sits overnight, we'll end up having Comet. We'll end up having Comet on this inner ring where those torpedoes are, which is pretty nice. I doubt, you know, that much will get there. Maybe like 2% of the Comet will reach these pieces, but over time they will, because the Speedy, you know, it's gonna come in contact with the screw, and you know, it all works its way around. As long as, well, what I like is having the thickest lube on the inside and the thinnest lube on the outside. So, but yeah, like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna feel over lubricated. That's fine. Lubical 1, I like using if I don't like the feel of the cube. Sometimes when I lubricate a cube, I'll feel the pieces collide a lot more than I like, giving it, I guess, a crunchy feeling. But because it's over lubed, it's not crunchy, it's smooth, but you can still feel as you're turning those bumps. Lubical 1, I've found, is really, really, really good to get rid of that. Yeah, it's a very runny, thin silicone, and I like it. It changes, it makes the cube feel softer. It makes the cube feel like it's coated in a good way. It feels like it makes all the other lubes a little more plush or cushioned, I guess is a good word. It's kind of hard to describe, but if you try it out, it's pretty nice. And because it's so thin, well, I don't think it's because it's so thin. I think it's because of the additives they put in here. I'm not sure what additives are in here, but it does come with the ball bearing, because it settles, and mixing it gives you, you know, even distribution of the additives that are in here. But something to do with those additives, it has like this drying effect, which is nice because it's clean. It's very, very similar to Stardust here. It's a very clean feeling lubricant, to whereas it kind of negates the feeling that lube is actually in the cube. So like, let's say I didn't use Lunar, Speedy, and Comet. If one of these two were the only lubes I would exclusively use, the Cube will feel like it's not even lubricated. It'll feel thinner than the factory lube, actually. Both of these do, and they're both really nice for that. I'd say this one's a little faster. This one lasts a little longer. But both of these have that drying effect to where you can even peek inside of it and it doesn't look very lubricated. It looks dry, feels dry. Gives you a very authentic Cube feel, which is nice. And it's fast and it's clean. Not gummy at all. Neither of these are gummy. So that's why I prefer using this if a Cube feels over lubed, or if a Cube, I just don't like the feel of it. If I don't like the feel of the Cube, this 9 times out of 10 will fix that and get rid of the gumminess. This one I use if my Cube is under lubed. So if this wasn't enough lubrication in here, after I, break it in, give it a couple solves, and it feels like it's a little dry, D&M is 100% the way to go on an under-lubricated puzzle. Because, the 3 of these, Comet, Speedy, and Lunar, they're really fast, thin lubes already. So, using a precise amount, a small amount, and it's not enough to work its way around, this will get all that lube around, because this is extremely runny, extremely fast, extremely slick. It's really good. It's good. So I'm going to put the rest of this together. I don't know if it's going to be a hassle or not. I didn't completely film the full assembly of this because it was so hard. This is a 58mm 5x5. Yeah, it's pretty tiny cube, so I had a lot of difficulty getting all the pieces in together at the same time without it popping out. So I'll do the best I can to put it together on film. If not, I'll just cut to when it's all together and mix it up a bit. So I'm actually going to add a little more Lunar here. I just realized everything I put inside the cube was on this inner layer that's underneath here. And a lot of the 3x3 stage is on this face up here. So I'm going to add about 3 more drops and just spread it around here. Maybe 4 or 5 drops here. There's also a little torpedo I just noticed, so I'm just going to add 1 little drop on that torpedo just to top it off. Just a little more Lunar right on this shield here, faceplate of the center. And that's it. That's how I set up my 5x5. This is the tension, pretty loose. I'll probably end up tightening this. I haven't turned it yet, but just by doing this I can tell it's already a lot looser than when it was outside the box. Still feels really fast. Actually, the magnets feel a lot stronger now. I think most of that is because I cleaned out the factory lube, which includes a lot of dust and debris, and you know, it just sat around for who knows how long. This isn't really a brand new cube. It's brand new to me, but I think these YJ mini big cubes, or at least this mini YJ 5x5, I think it's been around for a few months now, so, but yeah, sounds thoroughly lubricated. Feels, yeah, the magnets feel way stronger now. This is nice. Out of the box, the magnets didn't feel this strong, but now that it's been cleaned, I think cleaning it actually did more help than the lubrication did. Because now it feels like there's not a lot of drag anymore. And then again, I did put Speedy on the inside with Comet. Both of those are fast lubes, so it does feel a little dry in there, but I'll work it around. I'll probably do a follow-up, you know, tension it, do a couple solves. Maybe I'll do an example solve. But that's about it.